action! You can now receive something request. Anyways, hello, welcome back. So I read all the papers from the Gateway article, and at this point, I went into the bibliography and I found all the things I read yesterday. Hold on, I'm logging in. I read an article, right? And I thought after just simply Googling them that there was only 6 books. Most of these are books, actually. A lot of this information that this guy was using for this article are like just straight up books. Interesting, but I'm going to start reading them and I'll have to come back. So like if there's any CIA documents that you want me to read, now is your chance because I'm going to start reading them soon. I'm going to pick my own if no one tells, like, whatever, but like, you know what I mean? Like, if you want one specifically read, there are some things I want to go over though, because some of them are interesting. Some of the things in the bibliography, they're like not books. So one of the very first ones is The Lamp Turns Laser, and it was by Melissa Jagger, and it says it's a monograph, and that it was supposed to be a part. Actually, I don't even know what a monograph is. Let's Google that real quick. Let's see what that is. Yeah, I want a definition. A detailed written study of a single specialized subject or an aspect of it. Okay. So I couldn't find this at all. I think I found something that might be it. And it is a 16-page, right, with like a newspaper article afterwards. And I don't know, I think the newspaper article, the following article is the article that I read yesterday, actually. Yeah, the following article that comes after this written is the article I read yesterday. So we'll definitely be reading that today. For sure, because that's interesting. But I couldn't, there's she's missing. I don't know, I feel like everything I looked up about Melissa Jagger so far is she got kicked out and she's missing. Okay, that's interesting, right? But because of that, I did find this paper, right? It was actually in Tumblr or Reddit. It was in Reddit. Of course, Reddit. We all love Reddit. Thank you, Reddit. Yeah. So, I wonder, there's not a lot, for that, The Lamp Turns Laser. I couldn't find anything called The Lamp Turns Laser that Melissa Jagger wrote. The only thing I could find was the Reddit saying that she's got kicked out and people were looking for her. And then this person, Dean, 3 months ago said, I saw Melissa Jagger is mentioned in this document, page 13, with Melissa's title being chief instructor. There's not a lot of other bio information I've seen. So, she's I don't know, I guess written off this flippin' earth, or in this one. But yeah, this is an additive to the thing we read yesterday that she was in. So I don't know, maybe she's gone. Let's Google her. I'm searching her. No, seriously though. There's a bunch of other Melissas, but she's not a person anymore. That's crazy. She should have been the first thing that showed up. What the flip? Let's try this one. Wikisource? Oh no, I already saw that. Okay. Yeah, this wiki source that they have is just a picture of the bibliography from the CIA document, which is hilarious. That's that does nothing, sir. It also, there is a full text. I'll add it to my YouTube links, but there's I think I exited out of it. But there's like a full text, like archived. It's like archive.org. Like it's like for the internet, and it's like everything's archived there. So even if like it's not available anymore, it's available there. Interesting. I love that. But yeah, I'll make sure to add that in on my YouTube link so you guys can find the. It says full text, but I haven't checked to see if the missing paper that's missing from the CIA documents on wherever you find that at, I can't even remember, that's missing. Okay. But anyways, I followed this Reddit link. We'll read that. And then I did find the Morone Institute. It's .org. I might look into their... It says, discover, validate, empower. Our guided programs use sound technology to empower your journey of self-discovery. And then you can start here, click your name, and discover the path to self-actualization by joining us for your first Monroe experiential program. And you know what I'm wondering is like the document talked at the very end about how like the government could do this and how the government would do this. But the thing is that I'm noticing is that this Monroe Institute has been around since 1983. The government talked about having people being like trained, but like from what which has only been that one article, from what I read about this one lady who went there that was allowed to do like a written thing on it, she said that like all the other people, they were like really smart. You know what I mean? Like they were doctors and scientists and stuff. So I'm just like, okay, interesting. Let me really quick, before I get too much into my talkie chat, I want to start with all the things you can find in books if you want to read them. Of course, I'm going to have them on my YouTube link so that you can just click them and go. First one is Quantum, Einstein, Bohr, and the Great Debate About the Nature of Reality. I thought that was an article. It was not. But looking it up for an article over looking it for it up like a book, I did find an Einstein, Bohr, and the War Over Quantum Theory article. And this person, Adam Baker, 2018, like did an article. Again, I haven't read these. I will read these. We'll read that one. Let's put the things we're going to read today up front. That one for sure. And where's the other one? There it is. That one. Okay. Let's see. What was that? And then I found in the American Museum of Natural History, Quantum Theory, The Great Debate. These definitely look like different ones. Yeah. So we'll read. This is short too, huh? Yeah, that's the funny thing. The one reason why we're going to read a few things today is because some of these are really, really short. There's like nothing in them. So I'm not really sure. Then there was one called Carl Prebram's Changing Reality. And that's not a book anymore, or it's not a thing anymore. I don't know. But there's, what is it called? There is a book. It was like The Form Within. So maybe the name has just changed. I don't know. Well, but I'll look that book probably and do a little bit of like reading on him eventually. And then a little conversation over secret geometry and the cosmic egg. That's like everything besides the books that I found for the papers and articles that he used. The books would be Kundalini, Psychosis or Transcendence, The Mystic Spiral, Journey Out of the Body, Stalking the Wild Pendulum, Altered States of Consciousness, Tart Charles T., Secret Oral Teachings in Tibetan Buddhist, hold on. And Tibetan Buddhist Sect. And those are it. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's like 8 books that I need to read. So, today I think I'm going to read, my phone's right there. Today I think I was going to read a secret geometry book or something. I got it on my Libby. But, yeah. So, I think I'm gonna keep reading the documents on TikTok, but I think I'll be recording videos for YouTube for the books. So you might not see anything unless I do like another video. Like if I need to read more like of the articles, but there's only a couple here, so I really don't think we're gonna come back to this again. Okay. It's ridiculous how short these are. Alrighty then. Are we ready to read these? Because I'm so ready. We'll start with the shortest first. A kissy face? Is that how that works? Alright. I've never heard anyone call my face kissy face. But thank you. I think I just invited somebody on accident. Sorry. Someone pops in because they got invited. I was scrolling on my... I don't know how to use it. Sometimes I feel like I'm an old soul in a phone. Ooh, that's weird. Don't do that. Never mind. We're moving on. My brain is functioning perfectly fine today. Thank you. Okay, so this first one we're going to read is from AMNH.org. Exhibitions. Okay, so this is Quantum Theory, the Great Debate. Within the turn of the 20th century, the field of physics underwent two major transformations, roughly at the same time. The first was Einstein's general theory of relativity, which dealt with the universal realm of physics. The second was quantum theory, which proposed that energy exists as discrete packets. Oh. Sorry. There's 3 people did it all at once. Whoa. Sorry, guys. I'm reading. Those normally don't catch me. Wow, that's funny that I saw that. Now I don't know where I'm at. Hold on. Where's my thingy? Now I need my save the day. Keeps me right on track. Literally. Okay. The first was Einstein. I read that already. The second was quantum theory, which proposed that energy exists as discrete packets, which called a quantum. Boop, boop, scrolling down. This new branch of physics enabled scientists to describe the interactions between energy and matter down through the subatomic realm. Einstein saw quantum theory as a means to describe nature as an atomic level, but he doubted that it held up a useful bias for the whole of physics. He thought the describing reality required firm predictions followed by direct observations, but individual quantum interactions cannot be observed directly, leaving quantum physics no choice but to predict the probability that events will occur. Challenging Einstein, physics Niels Bohr campaigned quantum theories. Okay. He argued that the mere act of indirect observation, the atomic realm, changes the outcome of quantum interactions. According to Bohr, quantum predictions based on probability accurately described reality. Niels Bohr and Max Planck, 2 of the founding fathers of quantum theory, each received a Nobel Prize for Physics for their work on quanta. Quanta? Yeah, on quanta. There we go. Einstein is considered the 3rd founder of quantum theory because he described light as a quanta in his theory of photoelectric effect, for which he won the 1921 Nobel Prize. May 15, 1935, the Physical Review published the Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen EPR paper claiming to refute quantum theory. Newspapers were quick to share Einstein's skepticism of the new physics with the general public. Einstein's paper, Can Quantum Mechanics Describe the Physical Reality Be Considered Complete?, prompted Niels Bohr. Okay, so I think that's what we were looking for. Because the way it was written on the bibliography made me feel like it was a paper or like something he wrote or something somebody wrote about him. And that's what they're referencing. So I feel like this has to be what they've been that was referencing. I'm going to copy that. And we're going to search that real quick. Einstein. Okay, let's see here. In quantum mechanics, in the case of two physical quantities described by non-communicating operators, the knowledge of one precludes the knowledge of the other. Then either 1, the description of reality given by the wave function in quantum mechanics is not complete, or 2, these two quantities cannot have simultaneous realities. So it wasn't complete. But he said that? Albert Einstein, Boris Podolsky, and Nathan Rosen published a title paper. I was just looking for that, yeah. Give that to me. Abstract. In a complete theory, there's element. Who authors and affiliations? Einstein. Okay, so. Okay, yes, this is what I was looking for. Okay, so this is one of the things that the guy was referencing in the book. And it is, can quantum mechanical description of physical reality be considered complete? That was the question that Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen were looking for to answer. And they answered that question saying, in a complete theory, there is an element corresponding to each element of reality. A sufficient condition for the reality of physical quantity is the possibility of predicting in with certainty without disturbing the system. The quantum mechanics, in the case of two physical quantities described by non-communicating operators, like two people doing it that are operators. I guess it doesn't have to be people. I guess they're understanding that we're energy in this already. The knowledge of one precludes the knowledge of the other. Yeah, okay. Then either it's not complete, or they cannot survive simultaneously in the same reality. Consideration of the problem of making predictions concerning a system on the basis of measurements made on another system that had previously interacted with it leads to the results that if 1 is false, then 2 is also false. 1 is thus led to conclude that the description of reality as given by a wave function is not complete. And they decided that the 25th of March, 1935, which is crazy. It was a long-ass time ago. So what, they've just been trying to essentially complete it this whole time? That's crazy. Okay, let's go back and finish this. Okay. Anyways, that question that they answered, with that answer, that way they answered, prompted Niels Bohr to write a rebuttal. Okay. So Niels Bohr looked at these 3 really smart guys that made this question and the answer to it, essentially, and was like, no. Okay, alright. Let's go, Niels Bohr. Modern experiments have upheld quantum theory despite Einstein's objections. However, the EPR paper introduced topics that form the foundation for much of today's physics research. Einstein and Niels Bohr began disputing quantum theory at the prestigious 1927 Solva Conference, attended by top physicians of the day. By most accounts of the public debate, Bohr was the victor. So why don't we hear about Bohr then? Why is it we hear a lot about Einstein? Why is it that we hear everything about Einstein? Like, why is it when I think about smart men from the past, literally Einstein's like the first person that comes to my mind. Tesla. And you know, most people don't think about Tesla. They think about whatever that W guy's name was. I've kicked his name. I'm like, fuck you. I'm gonna remember Bohr from now on instead of Einstein though. That's crazy. Why don't we hear about Bohr? Now I gotta, okay, I'm gonna add into it. Now I'm doing some of my own research. Who the fuck is Bohr? You know, what was his full name? It was Niels Bohr. And this guy was, like, this is who they were talking about mostly in the CIA paper anyways. This is who they kept bringing up. I just figured it was like one of their scientists or something, I don't know, but I guess I should have known better. Wow. Okay. I shouldn't just read it and not tell you. But I was looking for something specific. Danish physicists. Try saying that. Danish physicist. I got it, yeah. Danish physicist who is generally regarded as one of the foremost physicists of the 20th century. So just a really smart man. Interesting we don't know about him, but we know about Einstein, who essentially, like, was wrong. He's right, but he's wrong. You know what I mean? He was right because he made himself right. Because, oh my god, relativity is a thing, but it's only within this dimension. Because of the way we have time. Dude, he was like Trump! That's funny. Oh, that's funny. I mean, the winners always do write history, right? Okay. Here is the other article. This one is nature.com articles. Einstein, Bohr, and the war over quantum theory. I love that they called it a war. Like, this was like a brain, like, why don't we, this is how we should be warring it out now. Why are we doing bombs and shit? Like, we're all so stupid. We're like going backwards or something. There must be people having like logical wars. Why don't we see those? Where are all those at? Because I feel like I can't watch the news because I feel like I'm watching two children yell at each other. Whenever they do like the conferences and stuff, I just feel like it's like an adult scolding a child and they're not listening and they can't, and you can see them not understanding, or it's like two children screaming at each other. I'm like, where are these, like, where people call them wars of mentality? It's like of people trying to be smarter than each other. You know what though? I kind of did see something like this actually. There was this man and he was on Instagram and he did 10 chess games simultaneously. He played against 10 people simultaneously. And he won them all. And I think it took him about 3 hours. Now that's a war I want to see. That's crazy. Okay, let's get into this article. What is real? The unfinished quest for the meaning of quantum physics. Adam Baker, Basics, 2019. All hell broke loose in physics some 90 years ago. Quantum theory emerged, partly in heated clashes between Albert Einstein and Niels Bohr. Well, from what I hear, Niels Bohr whooped Albert Einstein's ass. It posed a challenge to the very nature of science, and arguably continues to do so. Considering our government agrees that Niels Bohr was right, whatever, by several straining the relationships between theory. No, seriously, why can't I get over that? How is it that in this fucking document, like, he's it totally agrees with Niels Bohr, but like we're being taught Albert Einstein's like theories and thoughts and stuff. That I'm like, Okay, I'm going back to it. I'm just a little salty, I think, because I know too much about Albert Einstein that I didn't care and I didn't feel like it was important, and now I feel like I was right. Okay. Whatever. What was I doing? I was reading this. And arguably continues to do so by severely straining the relationship between theory and the nature of reality. Adam Becker, a science writer and astrophysicist, explores the tangled tale on what is real. Becker questions the hegemony of Copenhagen interpretation. I'm gonna try again. Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics, propounded by Bohr and Werner Heisenberg in the 1920s. The theory holds that physical systems have only probabilities rather than specific properties until they're measured. Becker argues in trying to phrase how this interpretation reflects the world we live in is sideways, Leah. Reflects the world we live in as an exercise in opacity. Exercise in opacity. We're gonna take a break. Just a short break. Because, I do love reading out loud. This has been really fun. It gives me like a lot of like happy feels, right? But there's some words, and I feel like I should just be able to say them, but it doesn't come out, and I'm like tripping over my own voice, my lips, my tongue. It's like that. I'm really hoping that with like time, it will get easier, and I'll get faster and like clearer and like less stumbly. That would be great. That would be absolutely chef's kiss, fantastic. Let's do that now, actually. How about right now? Anyways. Okay, I'm going to try again. Here we go. I'm not going to start with that word. I'm going to start a little bit farther back. Becker argues that trying to phrase how this interpretation reflects the world we live in is an exercise in opacity, showing that the evolution of science is affected by historical events including sociology, cultural, political, and economic factors. He explores alternative explanations. Had events planned out differently in 1920s, he asserts our view of physics might be very different. Becker linears on the 1927 Solvent Conference in Brussels, where 29 brilliant scientists gathered to discuss the leading quantum theory. Here, the disagreements between Bohr, Einstein, and others, including Aaron Dingler, no, we're moving on, and Louis de Broglie came to a head, whereas Bohr proposed that entities such as electrons had only probabilities if they weren't observed. Einstein argued that they had independent reality, prompting his famous claim that God does not play dice. Years later, he added a gloss. What we call science has the sole purpose of determining what is suddenly scientific realism. Wait. I need to do the quotes. That's why I'm getting messed up right now. I'm going to start over. I was doing them before. I don't know why I didn't do them this time. Prompting his famous claim, quote, God does not play dice, end quote. Years later, he ended a gloss, quote, what we call science has the sole purpose of determining what is, quote. Suddenly, scientific realism, the idea that confirmed scientific theories roughly reflect reality, was at stake. Quantum phenomenon were phenomenally baffling to many. Quantum phenomenon were phenomenally baffling. Why? Why do I think that's funny? Fuck you! Fuck you! Okay. First was wave-particle duality, in which light can act as particles and particles such as electrons interfere like light waves. According to Bohr, a system behaves as a wave or a particle depending on context, but you cannot predict which it will do. This is their whole thing when, like, if you put a cat in the box and you close the lid, is the cat dead or alive? And it's like you don't know until you look at it. Is that, like, this whole thing? Is that what, like, was that, like, simplified too that I learned as a child? Is that what that was all simplified? And also, why did I think Einstein came up with that? Because I feel like what they're saying here is it was not really him. It was, like, a bunch of other people. And he, like, helped. But in my head, my childhood, reading books and history, I feel like they're just like, yeah, it was all Einstein. He's just so smart. You know? Yeah, but they did prove it, because that's what I'm saying. Like, so, like, in this CIA article that I read, he's done, like, the research, which that's what we're looking at now, is the bibliography, all the things from the bibliography that he was referencing to say what they proved. They did all the scientists' research that, like, particles, unless being perceived, have no stance. They create, there is nothing. And then once you perceive them, they form. That is science. That is truth. That is confirmed. That is reality. Everything is here because you perceive it, because I perceive it. You are a bunch of little things that are together, they're being held together by an energy field, and then you perceive all of this and create it. You made your brain and your body. That is what we are literally reading about and confirming right now. That is what I'm finding information on, reading out loud for people to listen to, and then putting it on YouTube so people can source it themselves if they don't believe me. They don't think I'm actually reading right off the page, you know? So, it's pretty cool. It's really unique. Well, it's not, well, we are unique, you know? And it's like, we're beautiful. It's crazy because this information has been around since 1983. Probably sooner, actually, now that I'm looking at it. When was these debates? When was this debate that they were talking about? 1927? Since 1927, they've essentially been working on this information. Okay. Anyways, I love us. I love us. We're so amazing. And I'm not even, like, just a few people here, just me and this, like, building, just, like, I mean, this whole entire, everything, this whole thing, everything that it is. Like, to think about the fact that there is essentially something that is so aware that everything can exist because it makes it exist, and we are in its form, and that, like, within us are, like, realities. I don't know. It's so deep. It is so deep, and it's so intense. And it's crazy that we have science that backs that crap up. Like, why is this not in the history books? Why is this not what I wanted to read? Like, what? Where was this when I was a child? It was out there. I was just ignorant and dumb. You said old poetic words? You know that they did like actual like lasers into boxes and stuff and found different like a lot of the reasons we have x-rays and stuff these days is because they wanted to be able to see inside things without being able to see inside them. Now we use them for other reasons, but like, you know, that's why they made them first, right? Was so that they could do like all the research to prove this. I mean, you don't have to believe me. You can believe whatever you want. I'm just saying, this is out there and you can read it and somebody did it and there's written proof. And you shouldn't need written proof because they've also said that like all the religions and practices like meditation, yoga, all of those do the same thing. Those are just like lifelong journeys. So it's like to be able to get to that understanding, it typically takes your entire life. Whereas like all of this stuff has kind of made it so that people can do it faster without... I'm going to say it's the lazy way. Let's do that. Okay? White people did it the lazy way. When they were like, I don't want to have to spend my whole life educating. I don't want it. That's what they said. And so they figured out how to do it faster without having to do much for it. They wanted to understand how how it all worked, you know? Well, every religion's the same. Like, the most things that change is, like, the rules that keep them that way. But, like, they believe that there's an absolute, a god, a being, who had a son or, like, some kind of, like, next of kin, right? Some mini-god or whatever. And then that created us. And, like, that when we die, we go back up into it. And it controls everything. And that is what they're saying is true. There is an absolute, there's an all energy that created a being, or is like how we perceive, what we understand is like some kind of being or understanding, so it could self-perceive itself, and then that creates multiple realities, worlds, people, things, and everything else. That's science. That's been proven since like 1930, 1920. Yeah. No, seriously, religions are absurd because they put rules on things. Like, they're like, oh, well, you're supposed to do it this way to be able to do it. But no, it just is. You don't need to do anything. You could literally, like, sit somewhere and just do nothing and die. And you'd go back up into it. It's just the cycle. It's like, it's the cycle of life. Like, that's just what it is. Like, that's just how it is. You could be the worst person ever and you will still go back into the energy. Like, that's the one thing that I think most religions get wrong, is like for you to be allowed to, for you to be, like, you have to be like all these things, or you have to stay within this, or you have to do all this stuff, or you have to pay your 10% every year. But who's that actually like giving to? Like, that doesn't, you dying gives back to the energy. You know what I mean? That's all it's waiting for. It's for you to give back the information, which you could do that in this lifetime, actually. And I think that's something that's kept me, like, I'm almost 30. Most people don't think that. And I honestly think it's because I meditated a lot since I was 16. You give back your energy. You let it flow. You holding on to energy all the time is like killing people, literally. Like, a lot of research and recognition has gone into people who do yoga. There's a specific Chinese, like, meditative, I'm sorry, I'm ignorant in it, can't remember the name, but like, people who do that stuff lived past 100 all the time. I literally just saw an article about a guy that's like 114 riding horseback on his ranch in Mexico. Like, and he looks good. Someone who's at like 100, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm just saying, like, I think, like, if you're releasing your energy, you have that kind of thing in your life, like, you're just gonna naturally live longer because you're joining part of the circle of what is, and that is what we are. energy. Heaven and hell are most likely not real based on the Bible. It's a place. It is a state of mind. Yeah, like a state of mind. I feel that too. Because every religion has that too, where they talk about different like states of minds and stuff like that. But like in a certain way, right? Like they have, it's like contextual instead of like mental. Did I say that right? Did I use that right? Bye. Thanks for coming in. Sorry, I just was ranting. I was reading this article. Yeah, and that's like, and here's the thing though. This is what I want like you to remember about religions. This is why I used to hate religions. I used to be like, but when I realized this, I was like, oh, think about this. In this day and age, we have created things so we could see stuff within things without being able to actually see inside them. You know what I mean? Which is really cool that we've created things so we can hear stuff when people can't hear, or to make us hear better, or to, you know what I mean? Like, we've created some intense things that have changed the way we can perceive this reality. Back then, based on what we believe they had available to them, they didn't have all those things like we do now. Like maybe some, but not to the extent in which that we can hear things or make noise or, right? And like I went to Chichen Itza and they specifically built this building so that you could clap, and the echo noise was so intense, like it was like someone on a microphone. And that's cool, but I know for a fact that we make things that are louder than that and that are regularly being like played over the radio or whatever, so high that you can't hear it. Always happening. We're always hearing that. That wasn't something they had to deal with then, right? Like that stuff's intense, and we're doing that all the time. So like, it's just different now, you know? Like what we can observe and perceive is it's just a little bit different. So back then, they intuitively, without all this extra stuff, came up with something so right and also so wrong. And how much, that's so human. That's so human. What, like, such a human thing to somehow be so right, be so correct, and then you gotta put your own touch on it. But you know what? It's not good enough. Like, I don't know. But also, like, religions back in the day were also, like, governments. You know? It was, like, easier. Based on what I understand from, like your shaman was also your leader, you know? Like, each person had, like, their own thing, but, like, typically, like, healers and mental people were also, like, the people in the group to make decisions for the whole community. Yeah. You see it, though. You see people, like, searching. I've been, like, one of the coolest things I've recognized recently that's happening is, like, those... For a while, I saw, like, a lot of these extreme feminists and then the extreme, like, opposite women on the opposite side. I don't know what to call them specifically. I guess maybe there are names, but I don't like them, and I don't feel like it fits them either. They're just, like, very much for men, right? And, like, I feel like people really saw feminists as, like, the best, coolest people, and these other women as, like, ew, why would you do that, right? And we're starting to see, like, a switch happen, where, like, people are like, oh, feminists are kind of like, ew, what are you doing? You want to chop off what? Like, why are you, right? And then, like, there's these women over here, and they're like, yeah, what about mental health? You guys know that, like, men are the people who are dying the most, like, and people are like, yeah, you actually, so I feel like we do, like, this thing with any subject, and we're, like, we're trying to find the balance. I don't know. But that's something new that I've noticed, like, changing, switching. You love me, thank you. I send love to you. No, yeah, there is, like, and the science calls it an absolute. So if you want a name for it that's not religious, that's what science is using. The absolute. So, which is, I always think, every time I say that, I just think of the little blue caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland. I don't know why. It just comes, every time I think of it, the absolute, I think of him. Just like... Apologists? Is that what they got? That seems, and see, that seems so, I don't know, I don't like that. Maybe that is what they call those women, but I don't know, I don't like it. Yeah, I think, it's hard for anyone once you get the taste of it. Here's like a simple example that I've been giving people recently for personal reasons. I grew up with a poor mindset and the idea that I had nothing and I was probably going to have very little to nothing. And I even went to college, but like I went like a year and then I was like, oh, what is this doing? Like I'm not doing anything. Like I just couldn't perceive myself using that for my success. And then after some struggling and slowly building up like an understanding of how much I could make, and still feeling lack, I got into a career that gave me more than plenty enough money. And I had no idea how to handle that. No idea whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. And it's all gone. All that money's gone now. I had a great time. It was a wonderful time. But I mismanaged my money because I didn't really understand. And I think that's the chaos. That's like the greed that we see in humanity, I think. We call it that because we're like, that's bad. That's bad. You're doing bad. Look at you greedy. You got all that money. You just keeping it for yourself. And I get it because we want that too. I've always felt that. I'm like, I deserve that. But when I had it, I didn't do anything with it. Just like the people who have a lot more, right? Like, it doesn't matter how much you have of the lot, but once you have more than you can handle, like, until you experience it, like, you just, like, you may as well not have done it. Truthfully. But I learned, and I'm excited for when my next time comes around. I'm gonna handle it a lot better. And that's kind of, I think everyone has to do that, and we have to do that as a society, too. We do that as a society. You see that. So that's what I was talking about, right? Like, the switch. Bias. Apologists have a bias connotation. Yeah, right? Like, you're, like, apologizing all the time. So, like, they're, I don't know, apologizing for someone else. I don't know. Because, like, I feel like if you are opposite from what you are rooting for, how do you have a bias to it? Right? Because, like, your bias should be towards what's similar, what's the same, not what's different. Am I understanding that correctly? Thank you. Yeah, and that's exactly what happens with everything we have. Every movement I see, everything in the past that I've seen, every time I look at it, and if I don't see it that way, if I dig a little bit more, learn a little bit more, I swear, I'm just like, there was this start. There was the start of purity, the start of like, okay, this needs to change, a start of, all right, we need to go somewhere, just for it to like shoot up way past the line of the goal. Because like once you get to that goal, you're like, that's not enough, I need more. Which our government, actually in the US, I just watched this thing I learned, our government's learning. Okay, so interest rates are going up, right? And like everything starts going down, so they start dropping interest rates, but then everything goes back up, and so they start hiring interest rates, right? And they realize doing that, the government was causing that. So right now, interest rates are really high up, everything's coming down, right? But they're like, if we drop now, then it's gonna go back up. So they're kind of like waiting. They're like, let's just sit here, see what happens. I'm really hoping what's gonna happen is that it will like even everything out, and like we can find like one interest rate where everything will be set up at, and people can kind of start dealing with their life after that and accept that. We don't have to see things adjust so much, because the change rate here in the US is so overwhelming sometimes, especially for younger people, because like they're like, well, what's the point of learning if like I'm gonna have to relearn it every year? What's the point? Like, what am I doing? Why do I care? Well, I'm gonna die anyway, you know. And they just don't understand the longevity of time, like, because time is starting to speed up for them. And like they're like, oh, it's getting so fast, everything's moving so fast. But like I'm like, dude, you have 40 years, 80 years, like, calm down. You should learn. I was that person. What's the point? I'm gonna die soon anyways. Bitch, you are 18. What do you mean you're gonna die soon? I want to go slap that horse sometimes. I'm like, get your shit together. Go read a book. Yeah. The dislike of difference is too strong. At least I think it is coming down, though. I think you can see that a lot in like the spiritual community, like all the witchcraft and witchcraft, the Wicca and like paganism that's kind of coming back, and like people going back to like the roots of like old traditions and like tribal traditions and stuff like that. And I think you can see that in that, like a lot of people, even if it doesn't come off that way, you can see them trying. You can see them being like, yeah, I'm trying to positivity as much as possible, love. I don't hate you for you. Like, lies, yeah. Oh yeah, the small lies. Ugh, the small lies kill me. Well, there's no reason to get rid of bad emotions. You don't want to do that. That's silly. Remember, you don't like everything starts out of kind like a small like a thing, and then you just kind of go too far. Just remember that when you say things like that, because like who you are is your good and your bad. Who you are is like your perceived, what you see as bad, like, right, your greed. You don't see greed as a good thing. You're like, that's a bad thing, you should never have that. But you know what greed does do for you? It gives you inspiration. It makes you want things. It makes you work for them. Your greed, your desires, your wishes, your wants, those are the reason why you look into different jobs to get better pay. That's the reason why you educate yourself. That's the reason why you talk to people. You learn things from them. You listen to them. It's a part of you. Your greed isn't like bad, in a sense. You can do bad with it. But just like being good, right? Like, look at Christianity. I feel like smothered in the word good. Smothered. And you and I can probably agree that majoritively not good. Right? But again, we agreed it started somewhere to be good and was probably doing so. So like, there's always that tipping point, right? It's not to hate or get rid of what you perceive as bad emotions. It's to understand them, know where they come from, appreciate them, use them appropriately in the right setting with the right people. That is, like, it's just control. You control. You're trying to control everything else. Why not control that? We call them bad emotions because we believe there's good and bad. Yeah, just like we believe there's time. But that's a fucking lie, so. Well, yeah, greed is to get what you want. Greed, it pushes you. That's what it does. Now, some people, again, take that too far, and they're like, I want that, right? And then they push their greed, and it doesn't matter how they get it. It doesn't matter how, like, and they want it now, too. So it doesn't matter who that they take it from. Now that's different. But like, I want things. I want to make lots of money. And I want to be able to learn how to use that money appropriately. I plan to be extremely rich. I also plan to help people learn how to do that. I can be greedy. I can want a big house. I can want land to myself. I can want a whole place with a farm on it that I don't ever have to go to Walmart or Target for my groceries anymore. I don't want those things. I can push and be greedy towards that. But that doesn't give me the right to take it from other people. I mean, I could, because I want it, but like, that doesn't, like, I should, like, will I? Probably not. Probably not. I'm not gonna do that. I'm hoping to work with people. I'm hoping to be able to find people who want the same thing, learn with them, or people who already have the same thing and learn from them. And I will be greedy. And when I meet those people, I will make sure that I communicate that's what I'm doing. But like, I mean, that's the truth. That's the difference, right? Like, are you being greedy just because you want to be greedy? Are you being greedy because you want to hurt somebody? Like, why are you being greedy? You can be greedy for many reasons. Every emotion is the other, like, is another emotion. I don't know if you know this, like, love and hate are like the same emotion. Like, they're like this. There's like a line between them, really. Sometimes I do this. Every emotion's like that. They're like next to each other. They're all up inside you. They're mixed together. Have you ever gone to therapy? I think you'd understand it if you have gone... No. Therapists have a nice way to explain emotions, and the few therapists that I've communicated to have explained it to me in a way in which, like, I can perceive emotions as, like, a togetherness. I would suggest, if you have ever gone to therapy, I think you'll understand what I'm saying, and if not, you should Google or look up the way that they talk about feelings and stuff, because I think that would help you, like, see it the way that I'm seeing it. Sorry, I'm going too far. No, I never said that, but okay. If you think so, if you think you're going too far. Yeah. There we go. We're on the same page now. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I agree with that. That we can sacrifice everything for something. Yeah. Yeah, no. I totally understand that. Words are really interesting because essentially each language was like made up from the same language, right? Like, so like we have a bunch of different ways of saying the same thing. It's like it has meaning behind it. What is your meaning behind it, right? Addiction or obsession? Okay, yeah. It needs to go. Yeah, we are. Uh-huh. I agree. How long have I been here, actually? 153. Oh, maybe I should go. Ooh. I was reading this. I guess I will be back to this. How much more do I have? Hold on. Oh, this is kind of long. That's funny. The number 555. Okay. No, this wasn't that long. What was taking me so long to read this? Is it because I kept stopping to talk? Where was I? It was right here. Okay. What did I say? Yeah, we're definitely evolving. It's definitely a way. Yeah. No. That's why I'm doing it, right? Like, the whole point of this is, like, kind of to share, like, how I'm researching and what I'm doing and how I'm thinking. Because truthfully, like, I never felt that comfortable to talk to people about what's happening in my brain. Like, I know what other people believe, and I know it's not the way I think. But I've believed this before this research. Like, when I was 16, I started meditating and astral projecting and working on that kind of stuff, understanding it. And I was young, so I come in and out of it, and I wasn't always like dedicated to meditation, yoga, or any of that stuff. But I did, and a lot of it came naturally to me. And honestly, it's probably how I wasn't that interested as a kid, because it was so easy for me. I was like, I don't have to do work. It's so easy. But I didn't understand then what I was like working to, and what I was allowing myself to believe, and what I was open to understanding. And so, like, when I did acid the first time, there's so many things that got connected. And I was kind of shocked. And it was really hard for me to, like, I couldn't even talk to my friends, honestly, about it sometimes. Like, I was like, how do I explain this? How do I tell you what's happening? How can I share to you without sounding crazy? Because you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's the high. Wasn't it great? And I'm like, no, that's reality. This is the high. Like, this is so fake, and it feels so real. I'm just like, oh, it's so trippy to me. I don't know. And people just kind of live normal every day, and do normal stuff, and act and eat and brush their teeth, and it just seems like a waste of energy to me. I'm like, why do you guys like this body? Like, why do you guys like... What? Your life may contain themes not... Oh yeah, because talking about what you believe in your brain should be related to your age. Okay. Anyways, I don't know why people like this, like these physical forms. I don't know why people like having stuff like... I don't like it. I just don't. I don't like being in the body. It feels weird, and like I've had to accept it, because like I'm realizing I'm not getting out of this, and it's taken me almost 30 years to accept that I'm in this body, and I this is just how it is, and that this is where I'm at in the journey, and I'm just like, damn, I really thought I could leave. I really thought that would be easy. But no, it's not. It's very difficult. It's extremely hard. Yeah, no. I'm realizing that too. I think I needed to accept this, and I needed to accept that, like, I might be stuck like this forever, and that has to be okay. I have to be okay with that. And I think that's when I started realizing the whole time thing. I was like, but time's not real. I'm like, but time's not real. I'm like, but time's not real. No, seriously, yeah. That all you can be is you. And that's the thing, it's like I wasn't accepting that this body was me. I was like, oh, this physical stuff's not me, but it is. Like, it's another part of me. I just, like... It's new. It feels very new. Yeah. Ooh, let me write that down. I'm gonna write this down. Don't want to text too much. I'm getting it. Okay. Jonathan Living Stun Seagull. Okay. I'm 28. Don't get banned. No, seriously. Why were they gonna age restrict my stream? Yeah, no. I've done them for both. I've done drugs for hiding. Oh, that's probably why. It's probably because you typed that. I shouldn't say that. I've done mystical spices for many reasons. Oh, because I said the A word. That's why. Oh, see? They were right. Twitch was right. I was wrong. That was me. That's on me. That's on me. I wasn't listening to myself. That's on me. Yeah, tell it to me. Tell it to me. I want to know the theory. Because actually, I just won't. Oh, no, I have to go. I have to go. I actually have to go. I'm sorry, guys. We can talk more. Tell me that develops. Send me a message. Bye, guys. Thank you.